Wow, we're not even halfway through the year and already we've got a string of disappointing movies.
Knowing is good, but knowing everything is better. So, May, is there anything you want to tell us?
Hey there guys, how are you? It's me, the Canadian Movie Buff, with a review of The Circle. Based on the book of the same name, The Circle is about a young woman named May Holland who lands a job at a company called, you guessed it, The Circle. She rises through the ranks and earns the respect of company head Eamon Bailey, played by Tom Hanks, who offers her the chance to test out a new surveillance software. However, one of her fellow employees, played by John Boyega, warns her that the company may not be as it seems, and that her actions have dire consequences. This was a movie I stumbled upon by chance. I only remember seeing the trailer once, and that was when I went to see the movie Gold. So of course I did some digging to find out more on the subject. First off, it was written and directed by James Ponsard, whose last movie, The End of the Tour, was considered one of the best of 2015. He's not exactly a huge name in Hollywood, but every movie he's done so far has been met with critical acclaim. So you can imagine my surprise when I say that this movie is James Ponsard's first blunder. I will say this about Emma Watson, she knows how to carry a film. We get to follow her character around for the duration of the movie, and by sharing the experience with her, we get a sense of what it's like to be in her shoes. Tom Hanks does a solid job as Eamon, like this is the type of guy you would want to have as your boss. Then again, it is Tom Hanks we're talking about. Even when playing a bad guy, there's something undeniably likable about him. On the flip side, this movie has way too many problems to begin with. First off is the writing. Dave Eggers, who wrote the book, also helped write the screenplay. You'd think the author of the source material would be a huge help in converting it into film. But as this movie proves, that is not the case. I haven't read the book, so I can't draw any comparisons, but something tells me this was supposed to be longer than an hour and 50 minutes. The reason I say that is because this movie has so many characters, but the movie has no idea how to use them. Stars John Boyega as Cowden. Now Boyega does an alright job, but considering the character he's playing, he has a very limited screen time. Maybe he was busy filming The Last Jedi and this was just something he managed to squeeze in on the weekend. I think in the book he's a much bigger character, but in the movie all he does is show up to remind May that the Circle is bad. In fact, just about every scene that he's in could be summed up with, the Circle is evil, bye! It's a bad pattern that this movie falls into with its characters. We're introduced to them, we spend maybe 1 or 2 scenes with them, then they disappear until the plot calls for them to be relevant again. We get ideas of who we're supposed to care about, but why do we care about them? It feels like the only reason they exist is so that May can interact with them from time to time. What we get are 2D cutout characters that offer no depth and no reason for us to get emotionally attached to them. There's also no real progression of the plot. The whole movie feels like the first act, and then the 2 acts are smacked so close together that by the time you think something big is about to happen, it's over. Even though we see change throughout the movie, it still feels as if we're establishing some of the basics. This is one scene that is meant to represent the climax of the movie, so we should get some falling action, see what happens next, and how the story develops. But then, 10 minutes after that scene, the movie's over, and you're just sitting there like, is that it? Again, I feel like this movie could have benefited from a longer runtime. Worst thing you could do with a cool concept is make a bad movie out of it. That is probably the worst crime in filmmaking. And sadly, The Circle is a prime example of a neat idea with bad execution. In a movie where you have 1 or 2-dimensional characters, an uneven pace, no clarity in tone, and a rushed ending, it overshadows the strong lead. While the technology in the movie is a few steps ahead of what we have now, it never steps beyond the realm of possibility. I wouldn't be surprised if a company like Google or Apple did something like this within the next decade or so. This is another movie I have seen without checking the source material first, so I can't really say how well it stacks up to the book. Hopefully Dave Eggers is a better author than screenwriter, otherwise this book is going to be a major letdown. As for the director James Ponsard, well, I wish him better luck next time. There isn't much to remember about this movie, so it's best just seeing if it's on Netflix. Alright, that's my review of The Circle. Have you seen it? What did you think about it? Leave your answer by commenting down below, and as always, this is the Canadian Movie Buff saying I hope you had a fantastic weekend at the movies. See ya!